Hey everyone, welcome. Get comfortable, and let's get into tonight's Reddit stories. Picture this. You spend weeks and a few $100 putting together a huge birthday party for your best friend. And then you find out she secretly invited the person who used to make your life hell in school. Do you still throw the party, or do you shut the whole thing down? Am I the asshole for canceling my best friend's birthday party that I planned after she invited my bully? Anna's been my best friend since high school, and we've always been really close. I'm the organized one. I'm good at planning, and I actually enjoy putting things together for us, especially her birthday parties. This year she turned 25, and we agreed we'd do a big party at my place. I spent about $300 in 2 weeks getting everything ready. I invited 20 mutual friends, which is usually about how many people we'd have over anyway. One day I was with Anna, and I overheard her talking to Jess about the party. That's when I found out she'd invited Jess. Jess was my bully in school. She and her friends never liked me, and I never liked that Anna, my best friend, was talking to Jess. They're not even that close, so I kind of just let it go. But Anna knows Jess and her friends don't like me. She knew everything that happened, and at one point Jess had even asked her why she was still friends with me. I was really mad when I found out she'd invited Jess and told her I haven't seen Jess in years and I don't want to. Anna kept insisting that Jess has changed, and that I'd like her now because she's not really close with her old group anymore. I thought about it and tried to picture being in the same room as Jess again. It just didn't sit right with me, no matter how much Anna said she'd changed. I told her no, and that if Jess comes, the party is off. She said I was being dramatic and told me she'd tell Jess not to come. But 2 days later, I checked the group chat and saw that Anna had added Jess and posted, "Can't wait for Saturday at OP's house." I confronted Anna about it. She told me not to worry, that she was going to make sure she resolved everything between me and Jess. I told her no, I don't want that. So I canceled the party and told everyone it was off. I refunded whatever I could and packed up all the decorations. Anna called me selfish for ruining her party and for not wanting to reconcile with Jess, her other friend. Now she thinks I'm a bad friend. Everyone seems to think that seeing Jess and talking about old times would have been the best thing, and that Anna was just trying to help me heal. But the truth is, I don't want to heal. I just want to forget. Am I the asshole for canceling? Reddit was firmly on OP's side. The top comments said that if OP hadn't overheard that conversation, she would have been ambushed in her own home by the person who traumatized her. A real friend, they argued, would have asked OP first and talked it through instead of trying to spring a reunion on her. They felt OP deserves better friends than someone who lies and overrides her boundaries. Another highly upvoted comment pointed out that Anna is definitely not acting like a best friend. She knew exactly what Jess did, knew OP didn't want contact, and still lied, and tried to force OP to host Jess in her own house. To that commenter, this situation just revealed Anna's true colors. And a third popular comment boiled it down very simply. It's OP's house, and she gets to decide who is welcome there. Everything else is irrelevant. What do you think? Was OP justified in canceling the entire party after her best friend invited her old bully anyway? Or should she have gone through with it for Anna's sake? Let me know your verdict in the comments. Who's the real asshole here, if anyone? When your partner loves sharing their food and your friend loves eating everything in sight, who's actually crossing the line? In this story, one dinner out turns into a quiet car ride, a fast food stop, and a standoff over who owes who an apology. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to stop sharing her food? I'm using a throwaway account for this, My girlfriend always offers to share her food with everyone when we go out to eat. I've asked her why she does this, and she says it's just how she was raised. You always make sure everyone else at the table is taken care of before you eat anything. I've told her multiple times that while it's a nice gesture, she doesn't have to do that, and that no one is going to judge her for not offering her food because everyone already has their own meals. And it's not just with obviously shareable stuff. She'll offer bites of her burger or pasta or soup and other things that just aren't easy to split. It usually ends with someone taking direct bites or stabbing their used fork into her plate and basically putting their saliva into her food. Aside from the gross factor, I've also told her she really needs to avoid offering her meal when we're out with my friend Brian, not his real name, because he's the type of person who has no self-control with food and zero social awareness to understand that help yourself does not mean you can eat all of it, and I won't mind. This has happened a lot before. He'll demolish 90% of a shared appetizer plate because the rest of us are talking and trying to be polite, and he just assumes that means we're not hungry. I wouldn't care as much if he paid for it, but he's almost always broke and doesn't seem to understand what tax and tip are. If the item is listed as $11.99 in the menu, when the check comes, he'll toss in exactly $12 and think he's squared up. I know most of you are probably going to ask why I'm even still friends with Brian if I hate eating with him. But please understand that he's a really great guy and a reliable friend. He just has a troublesome relationship with food. That's not the only part of his personality, it's just the only one relevant to this post. Last night, we were out again with friends, and my girlfriend once again offered her meal to everyone, Brian included. I didn't want to make a scene, but I gave her a little nudge and she just gave me a shrug back. Unsurprisingly, Brian ended up eating most of her food, as well as his own plate, and my girlfriend didn't say anything. On the way home, she asked if we could stop by a fast food place because she didn't get much to eat, and I told her she should have just eaten the food she ordered instead of offering it to the table. I said this was exactly why I'd warned her and that she's seen how Brian is with food, so she shouldn't have been surprised when he ate more than she was actually intending to let him. I still stopped to get her something, but I also complained that I don't enjoy paying for Brian's meals since he basically ate all of hers. I might have been harsh, but this has come up multiple times, and she knows I'm not a fan of it. I could tell she was upset when I said it, and she still is now. She hasn't called me an asshole, but she's making me feel like one, and I think we're both expecting the other to apologize first. So am I the asshole? Reddit was pretty unified on this one, and most people thought the real problem wasn't the girlfriend at all. It was Brian, and the way OP handled him. The top comment said, OP is the asshole here, and that it would have taken 2 seconds in the moment to say something like, "Whoa, Brian, she said try," instead of silently watching his girlfriend lose her meal and then scolding her later in the car. Another highly upvoted reply echoed that, OP is wrong for blaming his girlfriend rather than addressing Brian's behavior directly. From their perspective, OP would rather argue with his partner than call out his friend who's clearly overstepping and taking advantage of the situation. A third big comment went harder on the double standard. They pointed out that OP bends over backwards to excuse Brian's relationship with food, but expects his girlfriend to have her own food-related issues, being raised to feed everyone else first, completely under control, while also managing Brian's behavior on top of that. Commenters called that unfair. He's criticizing her for not overcoming her upbringing, while not holding Brian to any similar standard, and not asking Brian to decline her offers out of respect for her needs. Overall, the consensus was that OP should be setting boundaries with Brian, not putting the responsibility and the blame on his girlfriend. What do you think? Should OP have stepped in and checked Brian at the table? Or was he right to be frustrated with his girlfriend for offering her food in the first place? Let me know down in the comments. Who's the real asshole here, if anyone? When your friend suddenly reinvents herself to impress a new partner, how far do you let it go? And what happens when her new values totally contradict everything she's told you before? Am I the asshole for reminding my friend that she slept with more than one person? So, a friend of mine recently met this new guy, and he's pretty conservative. Ever since she started seeing him, she's picked up a lot of conservative talking points and suddenly become really obsessed with this whole idea of purity and innocence. The other day, she posted on her social media story that anyone who sleeps with multiple people is a slut and should be ashamed of themselves. I saw that and replied to her story, telling her I was surprised she was saying that because she's told me before about having sex with a few other guys. She's even teased me in the past for being a virgin. As soon as I said that, she got really upset. She said I remembered things wrong, and then she went on a rant about how I was trying to throw her past in her face. Am I the asshole for asking her this? Edit, I didn't call her out publicly. My reply was through a private message. Reddit's top comments are very clear on this one. The highest voted response says you're not the asshole, and that your friend honestly needed to be humbled and called out for her hypocrisy. From their point of view, she was shaming people for behavior she herself has openly talked about in the past. Another commenter points out that anyone who's willing to gaslight their friends just to impress a guy is a major red flag. They see her sudden denial and attitude shift as less about values and more about trying to fit into what this conservative guy wants. And a third top comment calls out how her reaction doesn't even make logical sense. She first claims you're remembering incorrectly, but in the same breath accuses you of throwing her past in her face. Reddit users highlight that you messaged her privately, didn't expose her publicly, and simply question the hypocrisy in what she posted. What do you think? Was the OP out of line for reminding her friend about what she'd said in the past? Or was the friend wrong for shaming others and then denying her own history? Let me know your verdict in the comments below. Imagine you're waiting 45 minutes for your food at your boyfriend's restaurant. And when it finally shows up, it's the wrong thing. Then the fix he brings out still isn't what you ordered. Do you just suck it up and eat it so you don't embarrass him at work? Or do you stand your ground and refuse the meal? Am I the asshole for causing a scene at my boyfriend's work? So, I'm a 22-year-old woman, and my boyfriend is a 23-year-old guy. We went out to dinner at the restaurant where he works as a pastry chef. I ordered a Caesar tortilla, and then, after 45 minutes of waiting, they brought me a Caesar salad instead. I told him that's not what I ordered, and he told me to wait, that he'd go to the kitchen and make me a tortilla. After a few minutes, he came back with the plate. But it was literally just the same salad I'd already been given, stuffed into a tortilla. The crispy breadcrumbs from the salad were still in there. I told him I wasn't going to eat that because that's not what I ordered. He told me it was basically the same thing and that I should just eat it. But it's not the same thing. I especially wanted the tortilla because of the crispy bacon and the cheese that melts inside. In the salad, it's just thin slices of cheese, and I don't even like how that tastes. He told me the kitchen would be closing soon. For context, when I ordered, it was 9 p.m. The kitchen closes at 11, and the restaurant at 12. He said I should just eat it, especially because I'd been complaining for the last 3 or 4 hours that I was starving. I told him that wasn't the point, and that we could just go somewhere else to eat. He ended up telling his coworker, the waitress, to take it off the bill, and we went to a fast food place to eat. He was mad afterward because he said I caused a scene and made him feel ashamed in front of his coworkers. Keep in mind, I'm the quiet type, so all I really did was tell him I wouldn't eat that, and then he'd talk to his coworker. So, am I the asshole for not just eating something I didn't order? Edit more context. Here's how it actually went down. I told the waitress, "Excuse me, but I ordered the tortilla." She seemed annoyed, but said, "Oh, okay, we'll make it." My boyfriend then told me to wait and went down to the kitchen to make me a tortilla. When he came back with the dish, I told him I did not want to eat the salad stuffed in the tortilla and that it wasn't important anymore, that we could just go anywhere else to eat. I said this in a normal tone. I really wasn't mad, just hungry. He told me just eat it. I refused. He then called the waitress over and told her to take it off the bill. We left and I ate somewhere else. He later told me that I had embarrassed him because him telling his coworker to take it off the bill is causing a scene. That's the whole story. He'd been working there for a few months and he got the job because my dad's good friend is the co-owner. Reddit's pretty firmly on one side with this. The top commenter says they work in a restaurant, and if a coworker's partner or family comes in, that person is basically treated like a VIP. Their order should be right and on time. In their view, you didn't do anything wrong, especially since you were paying like any other customer. They suggest the real issue might be the work culture at your boyfriend's restaurant making him extra uncomfortable, not your behavior. Another highly upvoted comment points out that your boyfriend shouldn't have gone into the kitchen himself to remake the dish, especially since he's a pastry chef, not on the line. Mix-ups happen, and restaurants know how to handle them. Normally, you just tell the server there's been a mistake. They take it back, bring the correct dish, and everyone forgets about it. This commenter thinks your boyfriend was so focused on avoiding a scene that he actually created one by stepping in. A third commenter says they're always surprised when restaurant staff get upset that a customer wants the thing they're being asked to pay for. In their mind, this whole situation could have been avoided if the restaurant had just provided adequate service and the correct item in the first place. Your boyfriend trying to fix it himself didn't help. They suspect he didn't want to be that customer at the place where he works. And they add that, from their own food service experience, it's often not a great idea to eat at your own workplace for exactly these kinds of reasons. What do you think? Is refusing to eat the wrong dish really causing a scene? Or was the boyfriend just overreacting because it was his workplace and his coworkers were watching? If you were in this situation, would you have just eaten the tortilla and salad combo, or done exactly what OP did and gone somewhere else? Let me know your take in the comments, and if you enjoy these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Imagine you ride the same early morning bus every day, but if you miss this one unannounced stop, you're stuck walking 20 minutes in the dark. How far would you go to make sure you actually get off at the right place? Am I the asshole for abusing the bus stop chain so I don't miss my stop? I take a bus connection route on my way to work every morning. Public transit in my city in Southern California isn't great, but I'm lucky that this particular route works for me. I've been taking this route for a few months now, and there are a bunch of things that really annoy me. Unlike other buses I've taken, and unlike the underground trains, these buses don't announce the next stops unless they're major ones. And on top of that, the buses don't stop at the smaller stops at all unless someone pulls the chain to request it. They'll just blow right past them. I've even asked the drivers to help guide me, but most of them clearly don't like their job and aren't helpful at all. I've tried different ways to make sure I get to my stop without any problems. I've used Google Maps, the official tracking app, and even the actual map of the bus route. But all the online tools only show me where I am after I've already gone past my stop. It's really frustrating. There are no announcements, there aren't any big main stops nearby that I can use as a mental marker to know my stop is coming up, and the bus doesn't stop on its own. I try to look outside and check my surroundings, but I'm on the bus really early, like 5:50 a.m., so it's still pretty dark out. It's just frustrating. So lately, when I have a rough idea that I'm getting close, I literally track the minutes and seconds. I pull the chain. Most of the time, the bus has to stop for like 5 seconds and then starts moving again. And from that, I can usually tell that the next stop is mine. I don't like doing this, but if I don't, I always miss my stop, and then I have to walk 20 minutes to work, when it would take me less than 3 minutes if I got off where I'm supposed to. Yesterday, it happened again, and the bus driver called me out and was clearly annoyed with me. I apologized quickly, but I still don't know what the solution is. The top comments were not very sympathetic to OP. The most upvoted responses focused on one main point. OP has been taking this same route every morning for months, and commenters felt it's their responsibility to learn when their stop is coming up. Several people echoed the same reaction. They genuinely couldn't understand how someone could ride the same bus daily and still not recognize where their stop is, even in the dark, especially after a few months of doing this. One detailed commenter pointed out that what OP describes as unusual is actually pretty normal for buses. Unlike trains, many bus systems only stop on request and don't announce every stop. They suggested a practical solution. Use Google Maps and Street View ahead of time to memorize a few clear landmarks in the blocks before OP's stop. Things like distinctive buildings, or signs that are easier to spot than street names, even in low light. That way, OP could pull the chain at the right time without forcing unnecessary stops. Overall, the consensus was that OP is in the wrong here, and that their workaround is making their personal problem into everyone else's problem instead of adapting to how the bus system works. What do you think? Is OP just doing the best they can with a badly designed bus system? Or are they being inconsiderate by pulling the chain early and making the bus stop when they don't actually need to get off yet? Let me know your verdict in the comments.